Where did you keep your bike? Did you keep your bike in the house?
The bike, yeah, everything that had to be was personal like that, you had to, yeah, store in the house, yeah.
So you've got your table and chairs. Did you have a sofa or anything, or
yeah,
some chairs to sit on? What did you have?
Yeah, it was all everything on top of you sort of thing. Yeah, we had a table and 2 or 3 chairs. We had a small chest of drawers which was on the back wall, because like I say, there was no other window than the one on the front, on the yard side, and that was about it. But the bike was kept leaned up against the wall outside during the day, but that had to be moved rather quickly if anybody wanted to get through anything. But because the yard wasn't that wide really, I should think that 4 or 5 feet at the most.
Really?
Yeah. But it was one of those things that you got used to after a while. I mean, you were there and you had to get on with it. But Mummy, really, but she's settled to it. She said, well, we're here and that's it. And because later on she was moved down into Mideview and had her own little bungalow. She lived down there for years before she died, but that was more on a par with what she was used to.
Do you remember when the roads were pulled down?
So
do you remember when the houses were pulled down at all?
Allen's Row existed for quite a bit in a sort of derelict state, and then when they started to alter that end of the town, it must have been around the time when the council, new council buildings were erected, because they used to be in, I think the council houses were in Long Street, as far as I remember. It certainly wasn't anywhere near where some of those buildings were houses. You had warehouses up that end as well. They had several warehouses.
Did many people come and go in the yard? People moving in and out, or were people stayed there?
Well, no, there wasn't much movement out of the yard at all. I can't remember, unless somebody died, and somebody would. But no, family was pretty static really. There was not much movement in that respect. Occasionally you get somebody walk through the yard taking a shortcut, along Street to South Street, but no, they're mostly just the locals.
Were there any street lamps in the yard at all, or was it just nothing at all?
No lighting. No.
So it was quite dark at night then to go to the toilet?
Yeah. At night it was just the illumination from people's own, even though the curtains were drawn, you'd probably get just enough light to see your way.
Must have been shocking for you, mustn't it?
Yeah, it was awkward at night if you wanted to use the toilet.
Did you have a gazunda as well?
What?
Did you have a gazunda, as they call them, a pot?
Well, we
for
used
the toilet. Did you have
people
one of those?
Used to use in the house, which was common thing in those days. They used to use a Poe, a jerry. You still see them, but because that would have to be emptied into buckets and conveyed to the toilet for emptying. Yeah. I know when the ladies used to start dolling at 6 in the morning and get my mum out of bed. That was when a bit of moaning went on. But, yeah, we were too close for comfort there.
Would they wash on the weekends as well? Would it be 7 days a week, people washing?
Yeah, it extended through the week, depending on which was your day kind of thing. They mostly kept to it, but
so was there 12 houses in your yard?
round about 12
So how would 7 days a week fit onto 12 houses laundry?
Yeah.
Did people have to double up? Because if your sort of day was, you said your mum's day was towards the end of the week.
Yeah, must have done.
Just trying to think.
It. Yeah, they couldn't all get in there together. But you see, I know the Mondays there was 2 families. You know, Mrs. Adam and Mrs. Earl. They'd always done the washing together, and probably that's what happened on the others. Like I say, some of the domestic details were a bit lost on me. Sort of thing. Yeah. At my age group, you didn't sort of think too much about, but only the obvious things where you were involved in it a bit. You know.
Do you remember how people were dressed at all?
Yeah, Mum was a standard thing for most women was the during the day, unless they were going out shopping or anything, they wore a loose sort of fitting, I can't describe it really, but it was like an apron really, but it used to wrap round and tie at the back. And Mum was always in that, and so were the other ladies while they were working about. And then the first thing you did if you went down the shops, that would come off, and you wore a hat with a hat pin and the coats on, and made sure they were all presentable, and off they went down the shops.
Do you remember any smells from the yard? Any smells, or like the hat factories? Do you remember any?
Well, yeah, there was always
a
standard, you know, where you get an industrial town, something that you soon get used to. And no, it wasn't really bad at all. Probably the tannery was the one that which was down towards the in what we called the hollow. There was a yard down there as well, I think. But I remember the tannery.
Did that smell? Because they used urine, didn't they, on the hides?
There was some weird smells if you were close, but I can't remember ever getting up as far as we were, unless we got used to background smells. I don't know. But,
do you remember the abattoirs or anything? An abattoir? Because there was an abattoir, wasn't there, over by...
I don't remember that. Where was that?
I believe it was where the Co-op petrol station is. I believe there was an abattoir there.
Oh.
I just wondered if you remembered that as a lad. Yes. I just wondered if you remembered that as a lad.
That. No, I remember when I moved into this house, when we were married, in Church Street, we was asked to vacate there because I only rented it because Costain's property developers said that all that was going to be redeveloped and they wanted us out, and I stood my ground, but they did compensate me for moving, and this house became available, and so I bought it and I'm still here.
How did you move your furniture when you moved from the yard? Because now we have removal vans. How did you physically remove your furniture when you moved? On a cart or something?
Around, I don't know how generally they did it, but when we came down there, somebody... when we first got the house, we didn't have anything, you know. And Mum managed to buy some second-hand stuff, and the people that she bought it from shops somewhere delivered it, you know, burned it down for her. No, we had no problem there, but you can imagine that some large items would be a bit awkward. You know.
It's that narrow, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the children playing in the yard? Did the children play in the yards?
There was always kids playing in the yard, yeah. Yeah, the younger kids. And of course, you could jump over the wall and there was more room in places like Woolpack Yard where kids ran about, but it was lorries used to come into one end to Sales's warehouse, loading the corn, lowered down on chains, you know, that with through a trap door on an extended part of the building, and it was all in sack bags and corn going in and out. Yeah,
that's lovely.
But that was a nice sweet smell from corn, so even though that was quite close, that was all right. Yeah, and yeah.
Were the people mostly miners then in your yard?
There were some miners. They're mostly. Probably some would work at the hat factories as well. Yeah, I'm not too sure about who did what, but yeah, there must have been a sprinkling of miners and hat factory workers, which were the main things really. Yeah, it was an experience.